Hey, what's up guys? Shuckle King here, bringing you my NPL tryout team draft analysis. So the National Pokeball League, probably one of the biggest leagues out there, one of the most competitive, I would say for sure, was having tryouts for the next season that they're going to have, which I think is going to start in January or so. So I applied for the first stages of it. Very long application, but I was able to get through the first part of the application and on to the second part of the application, which is basically having a mini league where we're going to draft teams basically the same equivalent as if we were in the NPL. So we have the same amount of points, same amount of rules and restrictions and such. We'll be playing a 5-game regular season, you could call, over the span of 3 weeks. And then if we have I'm guessing the top couple records in each of those pool plays will then advance to a bracket-style tournament, single elimination. So it's a pretty cool style that they have. I guess they want to see a combination of how active you are in the Discord plus your battling capabilities. So hopefully I can at least go pretty well with the battling capabilities because I'm not the most active on Discord. I'm okay. But anyway, for this draft, for most of my drafts, my goal is to try to get undervalued stuff. There were some megas that I thought were pretty good value, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't stingy with points. I think we had like 115, 120 or something, so that was a lot of points. I could get a lot of high-tiered Pokemon with this amount of points. I was definitely okay with that. With round 1, I really wanted to get Mega Alakazam for 14 points, and I could have gotten it with my pick, but there were a couple other Mega choices that I thought were pretty good, so I went with something else instead, and Mega Alakazam was picked by John W. round 1, which is definitely understandable, but something that I haven't used in a little bit of time is Garchomp. Now, Zygarde was also available, but I am using Zygarde for LD, so I wanted to test it out how Z Garchomp worked, because I really do like a Z Zygarde so far. For LD gives you the options of running Choice Band, which is a really good set, or running like a Z Outrage set. They're probably my two favorite sets for Zygarde. And hopefully something similar with Garchomp can be the case. 1,000 Arrows is not an option on Garchomp, but what Garchomp provides is a speed tier above base 100 and base 102, which is certainly nice. It provides me with Stealth Rocks that Zygarde would really wish that it would have. It has the capability of being defensive thanks to a Rough Skin, and even if you have Rough Skin plus Rocky Helmet, if you face a bunch of U-turn, like Volt Switch spam, you can block the electric moves, and if your opponent goes for U-turn, and you're at least somewhat bulky, you're not going to take much, and you'll deal Rough Skin plus Rocky Helmet damage, so U-turn spam is a little bit deterred thanks to Garchomp on the team. It can be a physical breaker with that great 130 attack, with Earthquake plus, unlike Zygarde, it has the option of having Dragon Claw, which allows it to not be locked into a dragon move, which isn't the greatest because Steel and Fairy types are so prevalent. And it's also, I would say, it's a decent electric resist just because Hidden Power Ice is so common for electric types to run, especially if you face a Garchomp. And honestly, with my team, I really don't have a deterrence to not run Hidden Power Ice if you're an electric type against my team, but I'm okay with that. If you're on Yachi, you'll be able to live any hit and should be able to retaliate in return with an Earthquake or a Stone Edge, depending on the electric type. So overall, round 1 Garchomp's not the most impressive pick, but it was still nice for the placement I was in the draft, which I think was around pick 11, which honestly isn't great, but I still thought I got a really, really nice team. So my second pick, again, I wanted Mega Alakazam just because it's so fast. There's also things like Zeraora, which I wanted to try. Mega Mawile was there for my first pick. Clefable would have been really nice with Garchomp. Tornadus T is also something I wanted to try. I might have given that Z-move access. I got it, not sure. But they were all taken. But there's a really nice valued Mega. So Garchomp was 16 points. And for 15 points, I rounded that out with Mega Diancie. Mega Diancie, 110 speed. Really nice speed tiers there with Garchomp plus Mega Diancie. Good core with Garchomp because it'll prevent like Choice Scarf Dragons from outspeeding Garchomp and killing there. It also prevents hazards with Magic Bells, which is such a great ability. And look at this great 160 attack and special attack. It does great as a mixed offensive set or mon with Moonblast plus Diamond Storm. Diamond Storm has a great secondary chance of raising your defense by 2. So I'd usually prefer to run Overpowered Gem, but you can definitely run that if you want to. And even if you're a minus attack nature, if you want to go like max speed, max special attack, your attack is still 320, which is insanely high. So that's great there. The bulk is okay. Base 50 HP hinders it a little bit, but it's a really nice secondary rocker. Prevents outrage spam. It's a special breaker as opposed to Garchomp is usually a physical breaker. It can be a sweeper even if I want to run a Rock Polish set, or it can run Calm Mind if I want to boost my special attack. And if I really needed to, I can run a Heal Bell, maybe somewhat of a defensive spread if I really want to. I should be able to take, like again with electric Pokemon, I should be able to take a Thunderbolt, and I probably won't run Hidden Power Steel to counter my Mega Diancie because I do have a Garchomp. So, I like to core the first 2 Pokemon I picked. The third Pokemon, I had a lot of options, particularly Skarmory looks pretty good with the combination of these 3 as a ground resist because the other 2 don't really want to take Earthquakes, and would have provided me with Defog and Spikes. So I like all those options right there. And also the pick which I ended up getting in round 4 was also something I was debating about with my third pick. But I felt like I could fulfill a ground resist Defogger later on in the draft I wanted to, which I do end up getting, like Superior would be a good option. But something just stood out that really nothing else provided with any other Pokemon out there, and the most unique thing, which was Scolipede. Now, Scolipede, I won't be giving it Z-Move access. I'm giving that to Garchomp and another 9-point Mon I pick later in the draft. So it does lose some offensive sweeping capability, though base 100 attack with Sword Stance and Poison Jab is a really good fairy killer. Mega Horn still hits really hard, based 120 attack. But fortunately in this league, the combination of Speed Boost and Baton Pass is allowed. Not sure if it's a broken strategy or not. I mean, it's something that Smogon banned, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's broken in counter draft format. But if I can get even like a Protect off and then just Baton that pass that into Garchomp, now you have a Garchomp with +1 speed, plus base 130 attack, Z-Move access. I feel like that's going to be a really strong combination there. I feel like Scolipede's going to be a lot of the time substitute, Baton Pass, Protect, maybe a filler attack move, maybe max HP, max speed, or enough speed to get outspeed stuff at +1 speed, or a lot of defensive bulk or special defensive bulk if I want to try to get a substitute up. Again, I do have the capability of running an offensive Scolipede if I want to. I had the capability of running a hazard Scolipede with Toxic Spikes and Spikes, and Scolipede is also great in that role as it absorbs Toxic Spikes, though I do also have a Mega Diancie that really deters you from running Toxic Spikes against my team. We'll see if this is broken, but if I can get Scolipede with other Pokemon that'll appreciate the speed boost, I feel like there's a lot of potential with this team for sure. So pick 4 that I wanted for my pick 3 ended up lasting till pick 4. And I feel like it's just a Pokemon that is undervalued just because of how good it was hyped up to be and how good it was in Gen 6 out. So saying Victini is in this role, I think it's really undervalued in what it can provide. But what I picked for my round 4 pick was Manaphy. I think Manaphy was 16 points. So I guess that was a deterrence there. But again, it's saying at the beginning, I wasn't too worried about getting really a lot of high point valued mons because I'll be able to fulfill my roles with lower tier mons later on in the draft. But Manaphy gives me a nice ice resist that I currently do not have on my team. If I want to, I'm definitely okay with running a U-turn utility Manaphy set if I have to. But obviously the main draw of Manaphy is Tail Glow. base 100 special attack is decent with a tail glow boost, and you have decent bulk to be able to actually set up pretty reliably. Also, with Scolipede, I do not have to run Z Rain Dance in order to get a +1 speed boost. I can just get that from Scolipede. An item that I like running on Manaphy is just my Papa Berry to maybe take a couple hits and then go back up to more than 50%. So it kind of... Manaphy is hindered a little bit by not having reliable recovery, but having Papa Berry definitely makes up for that. So Manaphy also has a couple other tricks up its sleeve, but it's a really nice sweeping option there with the sweeping option of Garchomp physically, Manaphy specially. Mega Dante can run Rock Polish on its own and sweep. Scolipede can Sword Stance and sweep on his own. So I have a lot of really offensive capabilities to sweep in my first 4 picks. So I really like that, and it's decent bulk, especially with Garchomp and Manaphy. My next pick I debated actually also picking at my 4th pick because it fits really well with my team, especially with Scolipede having Baton Pass and Speed Boost, because this is probably the best Speed Boost recipient out of all like the legal ones we're allowed to draft in this format. I didn't give it my 4th pick just because if I didn't get my 5th pick, then Espeon could have fulfilled that role, just not as well. But I did decide to pick up Necrozma with my round 5 pick. Extremely bulky, 97 HP, 101 defense, 89 special defense, but with Prism Armor, it's essentially like a Solid Rock from Rhyperior, where I take 3 force damage from super effective hits, and if it's just a normal damaging hit, it's really not going to do a ton to me. Basically has the same, a little bit less bulk than Manaphy on average, but it does have reliable recovery in Moonlight, which Manaphy would really appreciate having. But why I did pick Necrozma, another thing why I picked Necrozma is that it's a 3rd Stealth Rock user, so Garchomp or Mega Dante are forced in a roll if I don't have to. It's also a Psychic Resist, which I didn't have until now, but the main draw of this set is getting speed boosts, plus stored power, plus Moonlight, plus Calm Mind, plus Substitute to block status. It could be Signal Beam to hit dark types and want to try to wall me otherwise. Leftovers would probably be the item of choice. It could be a Lumberry if I'm worried about status. But if I can get, so plus 6 speed with Scolipede, so that would give me stored power is plus 20 for each user's stat boost. So stored power would become 140 base power without even a Calm Mind boost up. And I am running a Pokemon with base 127 special attacks. That's going to be really strong there. If I get a Calm Mind boost, that'll give me 100 in, so what was that? 140 plus 160, 180 base power attack at +1 special attack. So that's just insane damage from there. If I can get 1 Calm Mind up with a stored power Necrozma. And it should pretty reliably get this the speed boost and live because of how bulky it is. If I do face a Phaser or face a Haze user, then that'll be an issue, but otherwise if you don't have that on your team, it's going to be a big problem, and it's going to be even worse if you don't have a Dark type. But I also do have Deancey to hinder Dark types, and I have other Pokemon on my team to hinder Dark type Pokemon. So I really do like the first 5 Pokemon I have here. Next Pokemon I wanted to get was a solid Defog support. Again, actually Skarmory is still up there on the board, believe it or not. And that would have been really great with everything I have, but it's also a decent amount of points. I think it was like 14 points, which again, I said I wasn't too worried about spending points, but I'd rather spend them somewhere else on this type of defogging roll because Mega Dante deters hazards enough. So again, Superior would have been nice, but it was picked right after Necrozma was picked, so I wasn't able to get that. But I think I would have gone with Decidueye, who I ended up getting otherwise. Decidueye has Defog, which is obviously the main draw of this. It's also a Ghost type, so in case I wanted to Hazard Stack with Scolipede, I will block the Rapid Spin, though Defog is generally a lot more common than Rapid Spin. It has Momentum in the form of U-Turn if I want to do damage, or Baton Pass if I want to boost either my physical attack or special attack. I can boost physical attack with passing Sword Stances and it also has access to Nasty Plot, and even conjunction with Tailwind if I want to pass a little bit of a speed boost temporarily. That Scolipede can do better, but it's an alternate role, and I guess it wouldn't count as speed and attack passing in this type of situation here. It also has reliable recovery and synthesis, but I believe it also gets roost, which is a lot better. It has even a capability. Does it have? Cannot set up Trick Room. Unfortunately, I thought it did, but that's okay. I'm probably not going to be running Trick Room much with this speed boosting team, but the Decidueye also gives like a base 70-ish speed tier, which the Necrozma already fulfills, but it's at least a little bit of diversity compared to like the base 100-ish speed that my first 4 Pokemon had. That was a little bit of a problem with my first 4 picks, where that they all basically had very similar speed. So stuff that was like lesser speed could run a lot more bulk and not have to worry about speed creep, and like really faster stuff like Coco would outspeed naturally without the +1 speed boost by Scolipede. So I do like Decidueye in this roll at 10 points. Next, I wanted Incineroar for a Psychic and Knockoff resist, which would have been really nice for my team because Diancie is the only knockoff resist that I have, and Necrozma can take Psychic hits, but is not immune at least. But that was taken, and if I had 1 extra point left, so right now I have 29 points left. If I had 30 points left, I would have picked the Pokemon I got next, plus Tupa U and then Ambipom. But that was 30 points total, and I have 29 points left. So I had to think of a different strategy here. But regardless, I was picking this 9-point mod, and I was eyeing it like at the beginning of the draft, and I was Aerodactyl. It's also going to be my second Z mover in conjunction with Garchomp, and it can fulfill either like a Z Fly, there you go, or Z Sky Attack, which is a little bit of a stronger flying move, but has no use once you use it once, essentially has no use. Or Z Stone Edge are probably going to be the most popular attacks coming off of Aerodactyl. I'm going to run a Z move on it, though like Z Aqua Tail could be nice to catch maybe like a Rhyperior or something, or Granium Z could even be used, or Z Fire Fang if I want to hit a Ferrothorn. There's options with Aerodactyl, and it's coming off base 105 attack, which is really nice for a 9-point Pokemon here. But a nice elite speed tier that I don't have to rely on Scolipede passing me speed. Not that I'm going to really rely on getting speed boost from Scolipede with Aerodactyl, obviously, because it's not the most bulky thing in the world. But it can have the capability of running just like a max HP, max speed set with Roost, to at least have some longevity if I really needed to. But I use this in Surge, and hopefully I can continue the good trend that I had there with Aerodactyl. Now my next pick, I still wanted a dark type that Incineroar would have given me, and also a decent U-turner. And I felt like I got something at pretty good value, and I haven't used this before any of my last 3 picks actually, but I got a Alolan Persian for 6 points. Persian is nice because it's a fast taunt user in conjunction with Aerodactyl, who's also a very fast taunt user, has stab knockoff, which is certainly nice. Even better than U-turn, it has parting shot. Parting shot is pretty cool because I can parting shot out into something, go into my Scolipede, and then maybe it's like a defensive mon that would normally be able to take out my substitute without a -1 attack, but wouldn't be able to take out my sub because it has the -1 special attack. So maybe I could set up a substitute on that, and then they either have to switch out or they attack and can't break the sub. And then I can protect and then have +2 speed, and then I can pass a substitute and speed boost +2 speed to something on my team. So that's a pretty good combination there with parting shot. Fur Coat is a really nice ability to double my defense. Technician could be something. I suppose probably not. Most likely going to be using Fur Coat. Fake Out is priority because I don't... What's my priority on my team right now? Sucker Punch, Decidueye. So I really don't have that many options. I do have a lot of speed, but I don't have many priority options. So having another priority option is certainly nice. And it does have Gunk Shot to hit fairies, so it's not totally fairy useless. So that's Alolan Persian. The next Pokemon I wanted, my team again, as I said before, it's pretty fast. Alolan Persian gives me another speed tier above base 110, which is pretty cool, and momentum. But the slowest Pokemon team is Decidueye. So again, like more defensive Mons can just afford to not run any speed creep, which is something I really don't want to happen if I don't have to. So I wanted to get something a little bit slower, but that could also really abuse the potential speed pass that Scolipede provides. And that Pokemon, again, I haven't used this before, is Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr is another dark resists, which is nice for Necrozma, who's probably going to be my primary speed recipient. So your dark types are a little bit more reluctant to come, because I do have a Conkeldurr that should be able to switch into pretty much any attack from a dark type pretty easily. Has really strong priority and Mach Punch. Has 3 great abilities in Guts, so it's a status absorber on my team because I do have Manaphy and Mega Diancie Heal Bell, but they both don't want to run the move if they don't have to. Very situational. Sheer Force is good to power up moves like Fire Punch or Ice Punch, or moves on the lines of that, even a Rock Slide. And Iron Fist will base my punch power attacks, like for Drain Punch, Mach Punch, not Sucker Punch, but I don't have Sucker Punch, but base 140 attack and 105 HP with an Assault Vest can make it very especially bulky, and it's already naturally physically bulky. It has a lot of pretty nice coverage as well, again with Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Mach Punch, Fighting Coverage, Earthquake, Knockoff, Poison Jab to hit fairies. So it has a lot of options there for sure. The last Pokemon I picked, I have 1 point left. So I wanted to pick something that, again, could be used with Speed Pass. And a couple things that I thought of that were, in general, pretty decent, but didn't really fit in with getting a Speed Pass boost for stuff like Emolga, Gothorita, Illumise, Magmar, Marshtomp, Bastiodon, Monferno, Volibee, Munchlax. They were all pretty decent 1 point Mons, but I went with something that definitely has the most base stats out of any 1 point Mon, and that is my boy Regigigas. Now, Slow Start is such a bad ability because my attack and speed are halved for 5 turns, but with Speed Boost, I should be able to get substitutes at least pretty reliably. It is really bulky at 111s across the board. Factoring in if it has leftovers recovery, it's actually a little bit bulkier on both sides, physical and special defensive, than Porygon 2 if it's Regigigas is defensively invested. So that's a pretty cool, shows how bulky this Regigigas is here. And again, it's only for 1 point. And if I can pass its speed, it at least won't have a problem with speed. It'll have the problem to attack, and it's got to wait for 5 turns. And then it'll be a 160 Pokemon that has decent coverage, as we can see here. It also has Drain Punch, so it can at least recover some HP if I have to. And its special attack, a little bit to be desired, but I suppose if you really wanted to, you can run a special set. Again, don't really see Regigigas being run much, but the only super effective move on it is Fighting. And I do have Mega Diancie to scare Fighting types, because I should outspeed most Fighting types. I have Decidueye, which is immune to fighting moves. I have Necrozma, which takes fighting types really well. I have Aerodactyl, which can outspeed with Z-Fly. And I have Scolipede, which also resists fighting. So I have a lot of options for fighting. So I feel like my opponents might not prepare for Regigigas as much as they should. So that's my team right there. I really like all the capabilities I have here. It is catered towards Speed Pass, but definitely does not have to run only Speed Pass to be successful with this team. But I'm pretty excited, and I'll be posting my pool battles in the next coming weeks. I'm actually on vacation next week, so I'm going to have to do a lot of pool battles when I come back from vacation, but that'll be okay. I think I'll do fine in this tournament. But until next time, later, guys.